They say every superpower has its secrets, but America's secret isn't hidden underground. It's hidden in plain sight. A weapon so powerful, most of the world doesn't even realize it exists. It doesn't fire bullets. It doesn't drop bombs. Yet it controls everything. It's the weapon that makes America untouchable. For decades, people have tried to guess what gives the United States its unstoppable dominance. Is it the nuclear arsenal, the largest navy, the advanced fighter jets, or the trillion-dollar defense budget? No. Those are tools, not the secret. The real weapon of America is something much bigger, much quieter, and far more intelligent. It's the system that connects all those weapons together: technology, information, and global reach. America's true power lies in its network, a web so vast and deep that no other country can match it. While others build missiles, America builds systems. Systems that watch, predict, and control. Every movement on land, every signal in the air, every satellite orbiting the Earth, all tied to one invisible force: data. In the modern world, whoever controls data controls war. And that's where America became untouchable. Long before the world understood cyber warfare, the U.S. was already preparing for it. While nations raced to build armies, America built the Internet. What began as a communication project for defense turned into the greatest weapon of intelligence ever created. Because now, the entire world runs on a system America designed. Every byte, every signal, every transmission, sooner or later passes through channels that America can access, not by hacking, but by design. It's not about spying, it's about structure. The Internet itself became the battlefield, and America built the map. From Silicon Valley to the Pentagon, from private tech giants to defense networks, they all work in synchronization. Google, Amazon, Microsoft, all part of the digital ecosystem that powers the nation's strength. Clouds aren't just for photos anymore. They store intelligence, logistics, and national defense. That's why even global companies host their servers under American systems, because security means control, and control means power. But this invisible weapon doesn't just watch enemies, it predicts them. Using artificial intelligence, satellite surveillance, and predictive algorithms, the U.S. military can foresee conflicts before they even begin. Imagine a war fought not with soldiers, but with simulations, where every decision is tested thousands of times before the first bullet is fired. That's how America stays 10 steps ahead. For decades, the U.S. has poured billions into creating something the world has only started to understand: dominance through information. This is why the Pentagon calls data the new oil of the 21st century. And just like oil, America controls the pipelines. When other countries build weapons, they rely on parts, chips, and technology, most of which are designed or approved by American companies. That means even foreign weapons often depend on American systems to function. Cut the software, stop the updates, or block the chips, and the machine becomes useless. That's power. Power that doesn't need armies, just influence. But it doesn't stop at technology. The U.S. has something even deeper: a global defense web spread across hundreds of bases in over 70 countries. Each base acts like a node in a giant network, connecting intelligence, logistics, and firepower. From Germany to Japan, from the Middle East to the Pacific, America isn't just present, it's everywhere. This presence isn't random. Each base is strategically placed to respond within hours to any crisis anywhere on Earth. It's like the world is under constant observation, and the U.S. is the one watching. Even the skies are part of this network. Thousands of satellites orbiting above, many of them not for communication, but for control. They see what others can't. They map every movement of fleets, track every launch, monitor every border. When a country tests a missile, the U.S. knows before the smoke clears. When ships move at night, American satellites already mark their routes. That's not magic. That's a system, decades in the making. Behind all this is a silent alliance, defense, technology, and intelligence agencies working as one. The CIA, NSA, and Pentagon don't just gather data, they trade it, analyze it, and weaponize it. And the private companies? They're part of the same chain, because in America, private innovation is national defense. Every new invention can become a tool for dominance. That's why every smartphone chip, every AI model, every drone technology somehow traces back to American origin. The world's technology boom was built on American patents. And even when others innovate, they do it on American platforms. That's how deeply the system is embedded. So while nations compete in open fields, America controls the unseen ones, the digital highways, the communication grids, the energy systems, all built with American codes inside. That's why attacking the United States isn't just about weapons, it's about challenging the architecture of modern life itself. And that's why no one dares. Because it's not about who has the most tanks anymore. It's about who controls the world's technology. And America made sure it does. This secret weapon doesn't roar like a jet or shine like a missile. It's silent, invisible, and everywhere. It's the mind behind the muscle, the intelligence behind the power. Every modern war now begins with data, and America owns the battlefield before it starts. You can't fight what you can't see. You can't defeat what you depend on. And that's why America remains untouchable. Every superpower eventually fades. Empires rise, conquer, and collapse. But America did something no empire before it ever did. It built a system that can't be invaded. A digital empire. An empire made of connections, algorithms, and control. While others fight wars for land, America fights wars for information. And in this battlefield, it has already won. Because in the modern world, the most valuable thing isn't territory, it's access. Access to markets, to technology, to data. And America stands at the center of all three. Every global transaction that happens, from oil trades to stock markets, passes through American systems or allies. Every digital payment, every financial transfer, every trade, all monitored, processed, or cleared by systems connected to the U.S. economy. That's not coincidence, that's strategy. When the world adopted the U.S. dollar as its reserve currency, America gained the power to shape global behavior without firing a single shot. Through sanctions, controls, and economic influence, it could decide who prospers and who collapses. That's not a gun, that's an invisible chain, and every nation, directly or indirectly, is tied to it. So while other powers brag about missiles, America uses money as its silent weapon. It's not about who has the biggest bomb, it's about who controls the system that pays for it. That's why even the most powerful economies keep their reserves in dollars, because the entire global trade runs on trust, and that trust is built on American strength. Every time the world tries to escape it, the system pulls them back in. But America's reach doesn't stop at the economy. Its next battlefield is the future, artificial intelligence. While countries are still debating AI ethics, the U.S. is already building AI armies. not made of soldiers, but of self-learning systems. Imagine drones that fight without human control, satellites that make decisions mid-orbit, ships that move without captains. That's no longer science fiction, it's real, and it's American. Every time AI makes a new leap, America's defense systems evolve faster than anyone else's, because it doesn't just use AI, it creates the technology everyone else depends on. The chips that run AI systems? Mostly American. The cloud networks that host global data? American. The companies that write the core code? American. Even when another nation builds advanced AI, it often uses frameworks and processors designed by the US. So America doesn't need to control every weapon, it just controls the foundation of modern warfare. The next great wars won't be fought on land, sea, or air. They'll be fought in space and cyberspace, and that's where America is already building its next shield. Space isn't empty anymore. It's the new high ground, and whoever owns it owns Earth. That's why the U.S. created the Space Force, not as a symbol, but as a necessity. While others were still debating its purpose, America had already launched hundreds of military-grade satellites into orbit. Some watch, some guide, some protect, and some no one knows what they do. Because the real power of these satellites isn't in what they destroy, but what they detect. Missiles can be stopped mid-air. Armies can be tracked before they move. Even underwater submarines can be traced from space. That's the kind of power no army can match. And all this is connected back to one thing: information. Every satellite sends data. Every radar adds signals. Every drone contributes intelligence, all feeding into a massive global network. The result? America can see, predict, and act before anyone else even knows what's happening. That's why no one dares to challenge it directly. You can't win against someone who already knows your next move. But here's the shocking part. This system wasn't built overnight. It was built over decades, through wars, innovation, and the rise of technology giants. Every conflict taught America something new. Every mistake became an upgrade. From Vietnam to Iraq, from the Cold War to the cyber wars, every battle shaped a smarter system. And now that system is alive, constantly learning, adapting, and improving. Some say America doesn't even need to fight anymore, because its technology fights for it. Its satellites guide, its AI predicts, its economy controls, its media influences. The battlefield isn't outside, it's everywhere. In your phone, your bank, your news feed. That's how deep America's reach goes. Even global narratives, who's the hero, who's the villain, are shaped by platforms built in the U.S. And that's another layer of its invisible weapon: influence. Hollywood, social media, entertainment, all tools of perception. While other nations build weapons to show power, America builds stories to project power. And the world listens. Because when you control what people see, you control what they believe. This is the kind of dominance no empire in history ever achieved. It's not forced, it's followed. It's not conquered, it's chosen. And that's why America's secret weapon works. Because it's not just about defense, it's about dependence. Every country that connects to the modern world connects to systems America built. Every ally, every rival, every individual, part of the same web. So even if the U.S. never fires a missile again, its control remains, because the world can't function without it. It has become too integrated, too interconnected, too reliant. And that's the ultimate strategy. Make the world need you more than it can resist you. You can build new weapons. You can make alliances. But you can't rebuild the internet. You can't replace the global economy overnight. And you can't create trust where America already owns it. That's what makes the United States untouchable. Not just the weapons it holds, but the systems it owns. Not the soldiers on the battlefield, but the codes running in the background. That's why even when its rivals rise, they rise on American-built foundations. And that's the genius of this invisible empire. It wins without fighting. It conquers without invasion. It controls without being seen. The secret weapon that makes the United States untouchable isn't hidden in some base or laboratory. It's hidden in every device, every transaction, every signal that connects our world. It's the system itself. And America built it. And that's why no matter how the world changes, the balance of power remains the same. Because true power isn't about destruction anymore. It's about connection. And the one who built the connections already won.